Hello everyone, my name is TiffyMissWiffy and I'll be your tour guide today. I'm going to do my best to loop you in and show you some of the things you may have missed since the POF or Path of Fire expansion, and walking through each of the episode's content, such as maps and currency, amazing map events, new emotes, strike missions, and of course, no spoilers. There is a lot to cover, so I've included timestamps below so that you can skip forward to whatever you may be focusing on. Let's start off with where you may have left off. Perhaps you have the POF story complete. Maybe you have each of the 4 first mounts, the Raptor, Gimmer, Springer, and Jackal. Maybe you even have all of the POF maps completed, such as the Domain of Abbey. Maybe not. If any of these items I just listed you don't have done, it might be a good idea to start with just the POF story. This story will lead you through all of the core maps, but also that will lead you towards all of the core mounts as well. But don't worry, if you don't want to go through the story, you can still get the mounts as long as you go to the respective heart vendors. I'll have everything linked below. Another thing to note is the Griffon, the hidden mount, has to have the POF story complete in order to start that collection, so that might be another reason to do the story. Let's start off with our mount. So the Griffon is technically part of POF, but it was a hidden mount. You might have it, you might not. So just a quick highlight, it is multiple collections and it will take you through all of the POF maps. It is a bit of work. I think I have about 7 or 8 videos in my collection dedicated just to getting the Griffon. It is a flying mount and it loses height, but you can use endurance to flap your wings and get like a bit of a push up. But then as you work through the mastery system, you'll be able to dive for speed and then climb to regain some height. And you'll never get higher than where you first started, but it's definitely a fun mount. The next one is the Roller Beetle. It does require completing the story episode Long Live the Lich and the mission Forearmed is Forewarned. There are 3 collections to complete in order to get the Roller Beetle, but it is a much quicker than getting the Griffon. I still do not take corners great with this. Often I'll dismount and remount because it's faster than going off into a random direction. So this mount is definitely built for speed, and you'll find races across the maps, especially the newer map, as well as seasonal festivals. You'll often see races as well. The 7th mount released is the Skyscale. So currently it is the last mount that we've had released to us. It is by far my favorite mount. I use this in the Raptor quite a bit. It is not built for speed, but it is built for height, like a helicopter. You're going to need access to each of the Living World Season 4 maps, so you're going to need to at least start each episode or teleport to a friend. You must also complete War Eternal, as this will begin the collection for you, as you'll get mail from Gork. You will also need to complete a star to guide us just far enough to get access to the Sun's Refuge. A level 500 Ascended Cooking, it came out somewhere between Living World Season 4 when that ended and when before the saga began. Even if you have no interest in level 500 cooking, I do go over my guide the very least you should do so that you have access to different items. The higher quality of meat drops, you can get the portable composter so you can actually salvage food items in your inventory. So getting those items at the very least, it is a collection to go through. I actually quite enjoyed it. But I did find that after I got the level 500 Ascended Cooking, I haven't actually been using it, and that being said, I do have some seeds that I probably have to harvest that I've just completely forgot about. Moving on to the Icebrood Saga, Guild Wars announced that they were releasing a saga versus a typical season after Living World Season 4. The saga feels like a season, but you can notice some different elements that they're trying within the map, which really spices it up. Starting with the Prologue, this is absolutely my absolute favorite map, the Bound by Blood. So we got the Grothmar map, which had hatch chilies for the currency. I noticed some of the recipes you can get for the vendor for the level 500 crafting is related to spices. If you do your achievement mastery, so the story group of achievements, your reward for completing is the Rockout amount. So there's 4 event chains, and each chain will reward an emblem once completed. Get all 4 and you can unlock a secret vault. Other events in this map cooking, bartending, and a derby event, racing event, hide and seek you can even find, and of course my absolute favorite, the Metal Legion concert. There are even a ton more events that I haven't even listed found within the map. It's amazing. There's also a hidden area that requires a puzzle within the trees to get there. There is a char exception. And even within that area, you have a point of interest and a couple achievements that you can get within that area. We have a new jumping puzzle, Gauntlet of Ken-Ur, and a mini jumping puzzle near the Flame Legion event. We also were introduced to strike missions. So when you do the story, you defeat the legendary Icebrood construct, and this is the same boss you'll do in the strike missions, just amped up a little bit. So strike missions are a bridge to help players get into raids. So you're only doing one boss versus a string of bosses, and you can have up to 10 players. So the Grothmar Valley strike mission, I did it with a pickup group, and we did it within a minute, I think. Like, it was quite fast. Like, it does have a jumping puzzle at the beginning, but as long as one person in your group finishes the jumping puzzle, you'll notice an icon pop up in your mini map. You can click it and join them at the end. And the boss itself was really, really quick to do. Now, I've heard some of the other strike missions maybe being a little bit more challenging, but to get started, you probably want to start with this strike mission. Moving on, A Whisper in the Dark. So we got the Bajora Marches, the east side of this map, released with the Eternal Ice Shard currency. With this map, we were also introduced to light puzzles, starting with 4. We also got a new mastery, Icebrood Saga, starting with the Raven Attunement, and within this section we got Raven Bond, Raven's Light, as well as tier 1 and 2 for the Essence mastery. Now, quickly at a high level, the Raven Attunement mastery track with Raven Bond is going to allow you to open Raven Lock, so basically you're going to see gates throughout the map and you can unlock them with this mastery. Raven's Light, you're going to be able to activate Raven Barriers and Raven Shrines. This is very helpful when the storm starts to come throughout the map. You'll start to stack and you'll start to freeze, so this will help gain warmth. The very, very important for the map meta event, which is super, super fun, but you'll want to pay attention to these barriers. The Essence, you'll see these tracks are based on the different types, such as Resilient or Valor. So basically, as you unlock these, you'll start to be able to pick up these Essence depending on the foe. They'll drop different types. There is a training tutorial that you can do if you are in Jorah's Keep and you speak to the researcher here. They'll go over it in more detail. Another thing to know is that having these tiers will allow you to open certain chests. Before A Whisper in the Dark was released, Grothmar Valley did award Path of Fire mastery experience, but now it is part of the Icebrood Saga and it does reward experience to the Icebrood mastery. We also got 3 new strike missions. They are on a weekly rotation, so you will need to wiki or ask in map chat which mission is currently active. We got Bone Skinner, Frenir of Jormag, and Voice of the Fallen and Caw of the Fallen. Not to mention the music in this map is amazing. I absolutely love it. Moving on to Shadow in the Ice. So it extended Bajora Marches, so we now have a west side. We got a new world boss, Drakkar. We have achievements that are in older maps to kind of bring life to the other side of Bajora Marches in Grothmar Valley. 6 new light puzzles. The Raven Attunement mastery now has Raven Flight, which is very important. That's your Raven Gates that you'll see across the map, as well as Raven Bright. Now, these Raven Gates, you need them in order to access areas of the map you wouldn't be able to get to without it. So the light puzzle, point of interest, and even a mastery point, you will need the gate to get there. We also seen the Raven Essence mastery updated with a tier 3. Completing the map's achievement mastery rewards a shiver emote, and we also were introduced to a new strike mission, the Whisper of Jormag. So the last part of the Icebrood Saga that we have to date is Visions of the Past, and this worked a little bit different. It has 2 stories, and you actually play as another character to kind of get their point of view, kind of see the events through their eyes, and it was actually really fun to play. It takes place in Eye of the North, and the story is also a replayable public mission. The Eye of the North is also upgradable as well. Living World Season 4. So after POF, you have the Living World Season 4 content, and each episode came with its own map, and that map had its own currency. At the very least, you're going to want to start each episode to gain access to these maps, or you can use a teleport to the friend. And the reason why is future collections do come back to these maps. These episodes continue to use the Path of Fire mastery point, so I'm going to go through each episode and let you know what content was released so you have an idea of what you might want to go back and focus on. With the Daybreak episode, we got the Domain of Estan map, and with this map we have the Krelkatite ore. During this time we also got the Twilight Oasis fractal released, as well as the 5th raid Hall of Chains released. So we got the legendary focus, the Binding of Ipos, assuming I'm saying that right, and the legendary Trinket Coalescence. Now that trinket is in connection with raids, so you will have to do raids in order to get that trinket. The next episode, a bug in the system. This came with the Sand Swept Isles and the Defluorite Crystal. We also seen a new mastery, Bond of Life. So under the Path of Fire mastery points, under Crystal Champion, there's now the Bond of Life. There was also the legendary dagger released, Claw of Can-Ur. So with Long Live the Lich, we got the Domain of Korna, which has the Roller Beetle mount here. The map currency is the Inscribed Shard. We got the legendary Warhorn Verdar, as well as a new fractal Deepstone. With a star to guide us, we got the Jai-Hai Bluffs, which also includes the Sun's Refuge, and the map currency is the Lump of Mistonium. The legendary Scepter, oh goodness, Exquatl? You can Google that. As well as the new raid Mithrite Gambit. We also did see a very easy jumping puzzle, but it's there. The Displace Visor's Tower. In the next episode, All of Nothing, we seen Thunderhead Peaks map being released with the currency branded mass. It also came with a new mastery, Bond of Faith. Again, that's under the Path of Fire mastery section and under Crystal Champion. There was a legendary Longbow Faris released and a new fractal Siren's Reef. For War Eternal, and this is probably my favorite out of all of these map-wise and content-wise, the Dragonfall map, which came with the Mistborn Moat currency. This is the map that you're going to get your Skyscale, and it did come with a gorgeous legendary greatsword Exordium. And that is it, everyone. I hope it was helpful, and don't forget to check out the resources I have linked below, and I don't know, guys, maybe see you around.